Dear teacher colleagues, my dear students, you all are welcome in the P.K. Verma biology classes. Myself, Dr. P.K. Verma. In the last session of biochemistry, I had discussed polypeptides, the primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structures. In this class, I am going to discuss one of the very important type of protein that is known as enzyme. Enzymes are catalysts of biological system or the biocatalysts that perform various biochemical reactions specifically at the body temperature without being affected or influenced by other chemical reactions taking place in the same system. You are familiar with catalysts. The catalysts are substances that change the rate of reaction. Normally they increase the rate of reaction, but they sometimes can decrease the rate of reaction. That is, there may be a negative catalysis. When a catalytic reaction is performed inside the test tube, we need purified reactants, and any artifact, any impurity can affect the rate of reaction. But in our cells, hundreds of chemicals are there. Each reaction takes place independently and has no interference with many of the parallel reactions taking place in the cells. Moreover, the chemical reactions mostly occur at higher temperature, 500 degree, 1000 degree, 1500 degree, and so on. But in our body, the temperature is always below 40 degree Celsius. The birds have 40 degrees Celsius, mammals have 37 degrees Celsius, most other animals have lower body temperature, and there are many plants that bloom in the winter season, so their metabolism occurs at temperature 8 degree to 20 degree. At such a low temperature, normally a chemical reaction does not occur. So the biocatalyst must be very powerful that can control the reactions, that can perform the reaction at this much low temperature. Presence of such a catalyst was postulated at first by Kirchhoff in 1815. He thought the presence of a specific catalyst in the biological system also. When Louis Pasteur discovered fermentation in sugar solution by yeast, Kuhn used the term enzyme, that means inside yeast. They thought that the yeast contains such enzymes, such catalysts, which can convert sugar into alcohol. Later on, Buckner in 1897 crystallized yeast extract in which catalytic activity was retained and named it zymase. But zymase is not a pure enzyme, rather it contains all the enzymes present in the cells, including those which are related to the oxidation of glucose into pyruvate and then conversion of pyruvate into the ethanol. Sumner was the first person who isolated urease enzyme from the jack bean meal Cannavalia ensiformis in 1926. He found that the enzyme was made of protein. After that, many more enzymes were isolated and over 5,000 enzymes are known to us. It has been found that all these enzymes are made of protein. Thus, in principle, enzymes are made of protein. However, in 1980s, some RNA molecules were found to behave as enzyme that helps in the processing of pre-messenger RNA into messenger RNA. It was at first discovered in the protozoa Tetrahymena pyriformis and some other species, but now it is believed that the catalytic RNAs are present in almost all the cells. These catalytic RNAs were named as ribozymes. For this discovery of catalytic RNA, Sidney Altman and Thomas Sek were awarded Nobel Prize in 1989. Now, we should discuss the structure of enzyme. The major part of the enzyme is a polypeptide. There may be one polypeptide or there may be many polypeptides. These polypeptides form the protein subunit of the enzyme. The enzyme ribonuclease, trypsin, chymotrypsin, and lysozyme have only one subunit, only one polypeptide, but most others have many subunits. For example, alcohol dehydrogenase and malate dehydrogenase are made of two subunits. In contrary, lactate dehydrogenase, acid phosphatase, and esterase are made of four subunits. RNA polymerase core enzyme is made of 5 subunits and the holoenzyme is made of 6 subunits. DNA polymerase 3 is made of 7 subunits. Enzymes may be made of pure protein, but most of them are associated with some non-protein substances known as prosthetic groups. The protein part of enzyme is known as apoenzyme and the whole structure including prosthetic group is known as holoenzyme. Many of the enzymes are made as inactive proenzyme They have extra length of polypeptide and their functional parts are covered by this extra length. These are activated by removal of extra peptide length, such as in case of propepsin, prorenin, trypsinogen, and chymotrypsinogen, etc. RNA polymerase has the core enzyme made of 5 polypeptides, and when it becomes associated with another protein, the sigma factor, the holoenzyme is formed. Here the sigma factor is neither prosthetic group nor essential for the activity of enzyme. It just helps the enzyme in finding the promoter, binding there, and helps in starting RNA synthesis. As soon as RNA synthesis or transcription begins, sigma factor is removed. Now all the polypeptides present in enzyme form tertiary structure. When a tertiary structure is formed, the chain becomes variously folded and makes some specific folds and clefts or grooves on the surface. These clefts have definite size, amino acid sequence, and arrangement of alkyl side groups of the constituent amino acid present in it. Generally, 5 to 7 amino acids are present in the group, and these are important in chemical reactions. The other amino acids help in proper orientation of the reactive groups and the reactants. The size of cleft determines which molecule of reactant or the substrate can diffuse into it and make proper bonds with the alkyl groups. Some of them act as nucleophiles and some others act as electrophiles. In this way, the structure of these specific groups decide the substrate selection with very little confusion in the molecular structure and properties. These clefts are known as reaction centers. One of the reaction center is most important because it binds with the main reactant, the main substrate. These substrates are bound non-covalently. These sites are known as active sites or active centers of the enzyme. But there are many more groups here and there on the surface of enzymes. In these groups, some organic or inorganic substances can be attached and help in reaction. These centers are known as allosteric sites. The enzymes containing allosteric sites are often referred to as allosteric enzymes. The substances that increase enzyme activity by their attachment to allosteric sites are known as activators. Inorganic substances may become bound more strongly and are known as cofactors. Magnesium ion is one of the very common cofactors. Attachment of these cofactors enable the structure of enzyme proper fit for the reaction. The organic substances mostly become bound non-covalently and are known as coenzymes. These coenzymes belong to the group commonly known as vitamins. These are not simply a prosthetic group to maintain enzyme structure, but the coenzymes take part in the intermediate reactions and sometimes they also produce products. So these are considered as second substrates. Some common coenzymes are nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, flavin adenine dinucleotide, flavin mononucleotide. These four cofactors are used in oxidation reduction reactions. They act as carrier of hydrogen. They become reduced. Lipoic acid or lipoate, thiamine pyrophosphate, coenzyme A. These three compounds are very important in conversion of pyruvic acid into acetyl coenzyme A. When there is glycolytic reaction in the cytoplasm, pyruvate is formed as end product. Having 3 carbon atom, the pyruvate cannot enter into mitochondria. In that case, at the surface of outer membrane, there is oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvate into acetyl group. The enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase needs help of lipoate, thiamine pyrophosphate and coenzyme A so that the carbon dioxide from the third carbon can be removed and the acetyl group is carried by coenzyme A forming acetyl coenzyme A. In electron transport system, ubiquinone, earlier called coenzyme Q, is used. Pyridoxal phosphate, it is one of the important coenzyme used in photosynthesis. There are some metallic ions, fluorides, and organic compounds that can be bound to allostetic site or other places in the enzyme, disturb the structure and function of enzyme temporarily or permanently, so these are called inhibitors. Sometimes over accumulation of the product also is harmful to enzyme activity. The product behave as inhibitor and they also bind at the allosteric site. Now, just see the difference in an inhibitor and activator. When an inhibitor is attached, the structure of active site is disturbed and no longer the substrate can bind at this site and therefore fail to form the product. On the other hand, when an activator is attached, the active site becomes proper fit to bind with the substrate and perform the reaction. Now, for the activity of enzyme, a proper temperature and pH is essential. The formation of hydrogen bonds, ionic bonds, even the hydrophobic interaction depends on the temperature and pH. Therefore, there must be an optimal temperature and optimal pH to maintain the enzyme structure and carry the reaction properly. Most enzymes are active at mild alkaline pH, that is known as physiological pH in our body. It is around 7.5, that is from 7.4 to 7.6. This pH is maintained in our protoplasm, even in the protoplasm of plants and blood plasma and body fluid of most of the animals. So it is called physiological pH. However, there are a few enzymes that act properly at lower pH and a few that act at higher pH. The pH is essential for maximum activity of enzyme, and if the pH is gradually changed, the enzyme activity decreases. You can see a list of enzymes that behave properly at lower or higher temperature. Pepsin can be active at pH between 1.5 to 4.5, that is highly acidic pH, but the optimal pH is 4.5. It is secreted from gastric glands where hydrochloric acid also is secreted. Acid phosphatase and esterase, these are released by lysosomes. They are most active at pH 4.8. Alpha amylase present in our salivary glands act at pH 6.8. Enzyme catalase found mostly in plant also act at 6.8. The beta amylase of plants act on 7.6. But the two enzymes alkaline phosphatase and arginase have optimal pH very high. Alkaline phosphatase acts at 9 pH and arginine at 9.5 pH. Enzyme activity is highest at 37 degrees Celsius. It is almost inactive at temperature below 10 degrees centigrade, and the activity becomes double at every increase of 10 degrees Celsius. But after 37 degrees Celsius, the activity declines very fast because its structure is damaged. It is known as denaturation. Most of the enzymes denature after 40 degrees Celsius, and no enzyme is active at temperature above 60 degrees Celsius except the thermophilus bacterial enzymes. The bacteria found in thermal springs have enzymes resistant to temperature, and some of them can act at temperature as high as 90 degrees. Enzymes have denatures also when precipitated in a strong acid, alkali, or alcohol medium. In this diagram, three graphs have been shown. In the first graph, you can see that enzyme activity increases regularly from 10 degrees Celsius to 35-36 degrees Celsius. But after 40 degrees, the activity declines, and by reaching 50 degrees Celsius, the enzyme becomes completely inactive. In the second diagram B, effect of pH has been shown. It is for the most common enzymes used in our body. The pH is increased from 0 to 10, and the activity is shown gradually increasing fast. By reaching 7.5 degree, the activity declines. In the third graph, effect of substrate concentration has been shown. When the concentration of reactant or the substrate is increased, for some time the activity increases, but when all molecules of enzymes become working, the rate of reaction becomes constant and the substrate concentration, increasing substrate concentration, has no effect. This point, when the reaction becomes maximum, is known as maximum velocity of reaction or Vmax. In this graph, some examples have been shown how some enzymes have different maximum velocity at different pH. Acid phosphatase is working on 4.8, salivary amylase at 6.8, and alkaline phosphatase at pH 9 or up to 9.3. Now let us discuss how the enzymes act. What is the mechanism of enzyme action? At first, Emil Fischer in 1860 suggested that the enzymes are very specific to their reactants called substrate as well as the product. It is because the enzymes and substrate have a relationship analogous to the key and lock. That is, the substrate fit well inside the active site, and on this basis these are identified. It is the property of enzyme to bring the other reactants also for the reaction in proper manner. However, if the structure of enzyme would be as rigid as the keys, it would be difficult to explain how the other reactants are able to be attached to or react in a proper way, how they come to each other to form a proper fit bond. This is the lock and key model. In the enzyme, two groups have been shown. These are close to each other, and in each group, two substrates are attached. After their attachment, a bond is formed between the two substrates, and then the product is released. there is no change in the structure of active site. The other model, induced fit model, which is accepted by all later scientists, was proposed by Daniel Korsland in 1958. He suggested that the structure of enzyme and the structure of active site are not rigid. The structure changes at a different pH, ionic strength, as well as by attachment of the activator and coenzymes. The structure also changes during reaction and becomes adaptive to identify and bind the substrate or substrates. He suggested that when one substrate becomes attached to one particular site, the structure of molecule changes so that other active site may become fit to accept the other reactant. After these two are attached together, they can react well. The latter hypothesis is known as induced fit model of enzyme activity. Here you can see the two substrates coming into the groups. The structure of active site is not same as the structure of substrate, but when they bind, the structure becomes proper fit. After the product is removed, the structure again changes to the original, that is not perfectly in the same site, same shape as the substrates were. In this another diagram, it has been shown that some parts of the enzymes A and B are such that they can bind the substrate properly from all directions or from most of the directions, and after that the products are broken into two parts. Here one complex chemical breaks into two parts. In the previous diagram, two substrates were attached together to form a larger complex compound. Similarly, when a more complex substrate becomes attached, the structure changes in a way that it breaks bonds between two constituents of this complex molecule. When the products are released, the tension of enzyme also is released and the enzyme returns to its original configuration. These are the diagrams showing induced fit model. You can see two active sites and a complex dimeric substrate. They become attached to enzyme, and after that the substrate is converted into product by changing the shape of enzyme. The products are formed. Now we shall discuss in detail how the active sites will act in decreasing the rate of reaction in the second session discussing enzyme. In this session, let us classify the enzymes on the basis of the chemical reactions performed by them. In our body, there are 6 types of chemical reactions on the basis of which 6 classes of enzymes have been made. Class 1 is the oxidoreductase. These enzymes control oxidation reduction reaction. In their names, the terms like oxidase, reductase, dehydrogenase, or peroxidase, etc. are used. You will find many of the enzymes when you will study glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, succinate dehydrogenase, glutathione oxidase, peroxidase, etc. In cell respiration, majority of enzymes belong to this class. The second class is transferase. These enzymes help in group transfer reaction such as transfer of amine, aldehyde, ketone, phosphate groups, etc. In their name, the prefix trans is used. So these are named as transaldolase, transketolase, transphosphatase, transacetylase, etc. Enzyme kinase is a transphosphatase. In glycolysis, you will study the name like glucose 6-phosphate hexokinase, fructokinase, or fructophosphokinase. These are all transphosphatase. The third enzyme is hydrolase. It is best known enzyme for these are digestive enzymes and break the larger complex molecules into smaller molecules by addition of hydrogen and hydroxyl of water at the interconnecting bonds. Pepsin, trypsin, chymotrypsin, amylase, lipase, etc. are such enzymes. Endonuclease, exonuclease, pyrophosphatase, acid and alkaline phosphatase, as well as esterase are also hydrolytic enzymes. The fourth class is lyase. It is a special group of enzyme that creates a double bond or breaks the double bond without involving redox reaction and hydrolysis. Fumarase, citrate synthase, succinate synthase, aconitase, enolase, and aldolase are such enzymes. The fifth class is isomerase. As the name suggests, these enzymes control isomeric changes such as position of a group on the carbon atom, change of functional group like aldol to keto forms, or changing the orientation of atoms or groups, etc. Generally, in their names, the term isomerase is used. DNA topoisomerase, helicase, guidase, mutase, dismutase are isomerase enzymes. The last or sixth group is the ligase. These are also known as synthetase. In their reactions, a compound with higher energy bond is formed. So ATP, GTP is utilized. DNA ligase, DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase, starch synthetase, sucrose synthetase, amino acyl transfer RNA synthetase, etc. belong to this class of enzymes. Now, because the number of enzymes is over 5,000, the standard pattern of writing their name is the reaction performed by them also using the substrate and products as well as the coenzymes used. So when a name is written properly, it becomes a very long name. Therefore, when the International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry was working on nomenclature of organic compound, the coding system of enzymes also was proposed. This code includes 4 letters. The first letter belongs to the class of the enzyme. Second subclass, third subclass, along with the trivial names. It is called Enzyme Nomenclature Code or Enzyme Commission EC. The first digit signifies class of enzyme 1 to 6, and therefore the sequence of class, that is oxidoreductase, transferase, hydrolase, ligase, isomerase and ligase are not to be changed. The second digit is used for the subclass that shows group or position at which catalytic reaction causes a change. The third digit is used for subclass, that is the coenzyme or acceptor molecules. The fourth digit in this code signifies the substrate on which the enzyme acts. On this basis, some of the codes for enzymes are as follows. Alcohol dehydrogenase is the first, EC 1.1.1.1. Glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase is written as 1.1.1.49. Aldehyde dehydrogenase is written as 1.2.1.3. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase is written as 1.2.1.9. 1,4-alpha glucan branching enzyme. The branching enzyme needed in formation of glycogen is written as 2.4.1.18. Glucokinase is 2.7.1.2. Trypsin is 3.4.21.4. Serine dehydratase is 4.2.1.13. Ribulose phosphate 3 epimerase is 5.1.3.1. Acyl coenzyme A synthetase is 6.2.1.3. In this way, every enzyme has a enzyme nomenclature code. Now in the next session, we shall study how enzyme function, how its activity is measured, and how the activity can be inhibited. Thank you very much.